Good afternoon, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. I'm glad you're here. Listen, one of the things I talk about all the time is the fear that we're heading into another Great Depression. Because when you actually see all the things that had us heading into the Great Depression the first time, we're seeing the same things reenacted all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple articles and show you what might be coming. God have mercy on us all. Robert Kiyosaki warned the economy is the biggest bubble in history and urged investors to dump paper assets. And here's 3 assets he liked instead. Now, if you don't know him, Robert Kiyosaki is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is actually one of my favorite books. It really talks about basically the viewpoint some people have that thinking like education, for example, is always going to save your butt, whereas people who are uneducated, well, actually sometimes are the ones who actually really understand how to dig in and grow wealth and actually take care of yourselves. So if you don't have that book or haven't read it, I would check it out. And he said in the article, 2022 was tough for most investors. Stocks, bonds, and crypto plunged. However, he says the worst is yet to come. And there's 3 things he said you should invest in: gold, silver, precious metals, and Bitcoin. Now, I'm not certainly agreeing with him completely on this, even though the man has a ridiculous amount of money compared to what I have. But I've talked about gold and silver and precious metals in the past. I talked about them as far as a prepper point of view, may not be your best bet. A lot of people did not like that video I put up, by the way. But instead, I did say, if you're actually looking at investing and playing markets and such, it's not a bad idea. Because gold and silver basically rise and fall in markets just like everything else does. All right, let's look at the second article to kind of prove what he's saying. Wall Street tumbles, Dow loses 697 on fears about high rates. Worst day in 2 months, buckling under worries about higher interest rates and their squeeze on Wall Street and the economy. So overall, I don't really need to look at this article any further because it's simply talking about how the market is losing. And I've been saying this, that toward the beginning of this year, we're definitely going to be seeing some major changes in the stock market. In fact, what I see coming is the stock market going down and crashing even more, sending us into a second Great Depression. A lot of people say a greater depression because this one will be far worse as far as affecting you and me and the economy and everything else than the first one did. In this article from Markets Insider, U.S. stocks are in a death zone and could crash 26% within months. Stocks have surged too high and are now in a death zone. And they predict the S&P 500 could crash 26% to 3,000 points within months. And I mentioned numerous times that with all the problems with the Fed printing off money, the high inflation, people's salary not going up to actually compensate for the money they actually lost because of inflation, people more and more are buying things on credit to be able to even buy things like essentials like food. And the worst part is the feds continue to keep hiking it up. Now, the feds have admitted that they had some actions that actually caused the problems that led to the Great Depression in the first place. One of them being raising interest rates. Because they see inflation going up and try to curb people's spending, they'll actually raise interest rates because guess what? If you don't have the money to buy it, you're probably not going to get a loan to buy it because the interest rates for the loan are simply just astronomical. All of that combined with the stock market at these all-time highs, well, it's already starting to come down. Morgan Stanley, Robert Kiyosaki, all these people are saying that we are heading for a major crash because of this. And the major crash, in my opinion, will happen probably before the summer, or if not into the summer. Nobody knows for sure, but when they actually look at the trends and how it's actually matched out compared to 1929, that's what I think we're looking at. The thing is, it doesn't matter if you want to invest in gold and silver, Bitcoins, whatever the case may be, or you actually even have stocks. I always say when it comes to prepping and preparedness, you really want to focus on this one premise. You can't eat gold or silver or stocks or Bitcoins or any of those things. So I always say that when it comes to trying to keep yourself prepared for a Great Depression, having tangible items. Granted, gold and silver is tangible too, but having tangible items that you can use, everything from food to basic necessities, is actually one of the things you really should focus on. Because the Great Depression, the first time it happened, a lot of people from the cities went out in the country, and a lot of the regular, everyday household items that we took advantage of were things that people really sought after, and I think the same thing's coming as well. So we have to be prepared for this, and we learn from history because of that. So this next video I'm going to put across are 70 things you need to stock up on now, because I believe there's going to be a whole new market, a underground market, if you will, of things people will be looking for and trying to get. So if you can stock up on these ahead of time, that's probably your best bet. Thanks for watching.